Today we're privileged to work on a Silverback Stratos CF 2.0. So the complaint is that the chain is slipping from the bottom gear. So the assumption is that the bottom gears are worn out because that's where the chain spends most of its time. Luckily the bike shop in Malmesbury, Bike Addict, they sell this kit that has got the two lowest gears in it, and what we're going to do today is we're going to replace these two on the cassette, and then hopefully the chain slipping is gone. So let's get the stand out and get the bike on the stand. Okay, so we've got the bike on the stand. We're going to go through the shifting and see what the problem is. So there's definitely an issue with the shifting. Now we have to find out why. It could either be the shifter cable, or it could be the chain, or it could be the alignment of the derailleur hanger. It might be bent. So what we're going to do first is we're going to put a chain checker on there and see what the chain wear is. So the chain checker's got a 50% or a 75% wear check on it. So usually just between 50 and 75, that's where I usually replace my chain. So let's put it in the 50% first and see what we're dealing with. Okay, so it's definitely past 50%. That doesn't look good. Let's check 75. And it also looks loose on 75%, which is not a good sign. So usually if your chain has got worn out by the point of 75%, that could cause damage and extra wear on your cassette and on your chainring. So we might need to replace those gears anyway. So the owner of the bike wanted the two gears to be replaced. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Then we're going to put everything back together. We have a new chain here. We're going to stick that on there. Then we're going to check the shifting. If the shifting is still an issue, we're going to see if we can adjust the shifter cable by working with the barrel adjuster. So let's remove the wheel. Okay, we have the wheel here. We're going to remove the cassette by using this socket and this tool. This tool is to keep the cassette from moving, because when you put this socket inside the lock nut, to loosen the cassette, you have to turn the direction in which the cassette is rotating. So you use this guy to put onto the cassette to keep it from moving, so that you can wrench the lock nut loose. So we're going to do that. So we put the chain onto the cassette and then we grab it here at the bottom. Now it can't move, and now I can wrench down and get the lock nut loose. There we go. So as you see, the lock nut has got these little inner grooves, and this socket has the grooves that will fit in there. So with the lock nut removed, we can just slide off the cassette. Okay, we got the cassette off the hub. We're going to remove those smaller cogs and replace them with the new ones. I'm telling you, the dogs in this neighborhood. So let's get this thing opened up. Okay, we're just gonna put a little bike grease on there. Now the easiest would be to start with this unit. This part is a complete unit. You can't take it apart, so it would be the easiest to just slide that guy on there. We're gonna look for the perfect groove, which is right over here. There we go. The first of many. Okay, so now for the two new blades, I'm gonna do their alignment now and then just put them in where they should be. There we go. Okay, now it's time for the lock nut. We're just gonna clean out the threads a little with some brake cleaner. Ooh. Nice. Okay, so to tighten it, we're going to put in the socket again, and now we're going to turn it against the rotation of the cassette. So if the cassette moves easily this way, then we will tighten it the opposite direction. So the specific torque setting for this lock nut is 40 Newton meters. So if you have a torque wrench, do that. But otherwise, tight is tight. Okay, before we put on the chain, the cassette wasn't that dirty. I think they did do a reasonable clean on that, but the chainring is still dirty. So I'm going to clean the chainring up a little. For cleaning the chainring, I'm just going to use a toothbrush that goes into the hard to reach places and some paraffin that I just used to clean the chain. Side, and then one on that side. Connect like so. And then what we can do is we're going to remove this guy and put some torque on the crank. Now by locking the rear brake and giving a crank forwards, the chain link will lock in. Okay, so everything's back together. I haven't done anything. I'm gonna check the shifting from scratch and then see if we need to make any adjustments. Let's go through the shifting. So this little guy is the barrel adjuster. So my shifter cable was a little loose. So to tighten it, I turned it in the direction of the front wheel. In other words, I turned it forward. I did it about 3 clicks, and let me show you what the shifting is doing. Okay, don't let me down. Okay, that goes all the way to the top. Let's go down again. Dogs in this neighborhood. The shifting looks to be fine. Obviously the better test is to take it out riding and then maybe a minor adjustment. So new chain, the 2 smallest cogs replaced, and 3 clicks tighter on the shifter cable, and we're happy. So just to be clear, I am no bike mechanic. I bought myself some tools. I'm actually buying more tools as we go along. I like working on my own bike. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.